Hi everybody, it's Carli at Let's Bead. Happy Sunday night, and I'm here to do our weekly project. And something just popped up on my screen. Alright, get out of the way. All right, I'm just going to have to work around it. Okay, so tonight we are doing a pair of Valentine's themed earrings. So I thought that would be fun. And I'm just getting my computer set up so I can see. If you are, hi Christine. Thanks for joining. If you are new to the group or you're not familiar with Let's Bead, we're a store in East Rochester, and in East Rochester, New York, I should say. And we sell all sorts of materials to make jewelry. We offer classes. We have fun events. And so every Sunday night I do a project, and tonight is a pair of earrings. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you didn't see my post earlier, I posted that sometimes the idea for the weekly project starts with just a sketch on a napkin. And I had something, I envisioned in my head and just kind of sketched it out. And then I picked out, what I could find at the store to try to create this. So I've got underneath my materials, and so I've got some leather. The leather is 1 millimeter, and I've got a couple of head pins, a couple pieces of wire. I've got some cord ends and a couple of fire polished crystals, some ear wires, a couple metal spacers, and a couple bails that you would use like on a necklace to attach a pendant. And then I picked up a variety of different hearts just to show you different options. I'm going to use these tonight, but I wanted to just show you some other options for a different look. We have a stand set up that's got the Valentine themed stuff by the door, and so you can see a lot of the choices there. Let's see. Hi Carol. Hi Kelly. I love the sketch. I'm not very good at sketching, but it just gets it out of my head so I remember. And I actually have a little book that I draw things in, and so they're all in one place, but I didn't have my book with me when I had this idea, so I just used a napkin. And then I have some glue, some E6000, and some hypo cement. I'm probably going to use the E6000, and a toothpick, and a pair of scissors, and I've got my tools off to the side. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. So each piece of leather is 24 inches, and I'm going to, I'll bring my sketch back over so you know what I'm talking about. This part here is leather, and I'm going to do 4 strands of leather. So what I'm going to do is just fold this in half and cut it, and then I'll fold those pieces in half and cut them again, so I have 4 strands. And leather, if it's unruly, I think this will straighten out once I get it on the earrings. But if it's unruly, you can, dampen it and get it to be straight. I just want to make sure that these are all lined up because I want them the same length. Did everybody have a good weekend? All right. Did you guys see the sad news about Kobe Bryant? I thought that was just, and his daughter and 7 other people. Just terrible. Okay. So I cut that in half again. Hi, Kelly Carter. Checking in from Florida. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Okay, busy weekend for folks, it looks like. Yeah, very sad. Very sad. Okay. So, all right. So, and you can see that the leather already has a natural curve. So I want to, use that natural curve when I make the earrings. I don't want to force it a different direction. That will help the leather cooperate a little bit better. So let's get the glue out here. And I'm just going to put a little bit, maybe I'm going to use the hypo cement because it's got the fine tip on it. And the hypo cement generally comes out on its own. It's starting to come out. And I like it because it has like a fine tip so you can get into small places. I'm just waiting for it to start coming out of the tube. Can feel some air in here. Well, it's giving me grief here. Let me try the other one. So thanks you guys for responding and being willing to participate in the Carli's challenge that we're bringing back. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So if you didn't see the post about it, you can go back and check it out. It's on the page, but I'll also tell you. So it's just all you have to do to participate in the challenge is to make 1 piece of jewelry a week, or if you want to challenge yourself to more, you're more than welcome to do that. And when I say make 1 piece of jewelry a week, everybody has unfinished projects. Everybody has things that maybe they've started that they haven't had a chance to finish. So even if you finish a project, that still counts because you're still being productive. You're still getting things done. So we're going to start. The first one will be Monday. I believe it's February 3rd. And all you need to do is work on something between now and then. And on that Monday, post it here in the group. And if you want to share anything about the project, what inspired you to come up with a design, or how you made it, or anything you want to share about it, you're more than welcome to. And obviously it is our page in our group, so we don't, want to see resources from other bead providers in the group. But, share how you made it, and we would love to see your creations. Okay, so this is starting to come out now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of this glue, and I'm just putting it inside this crimp tube. And I don't want a ton in there because I don't want it to ooze out the other end. All right. So I'm just running it around on the inside. Okay. And then with my other hand, I'm just going to make sure I line up the ends of the leather. All right, I got them all lined up. And then I'm going to put them in the tube. There we go. All right, and then the other side, I'm gonna, so you can see that it's significantly uneven, which I cut them all even. So that means a couple of the pieces maybe aren't all the way pushed in. So I just want to double check it. There's those two. Yep. See, there's one that just come out. And maybe I like the look with 4, but I could do just 3 pieces of leather to make it a little bit easier. All right, so we're gonna go with 3. All right, so I'm gonna grab a pair of pliers, and these, and I want to pay attention to the direction the ring is going from the curve, and I want it sideways. Hi, Susan. Thanks for joining. So I want it sideways. So, and then you see the middle section here. I'm just going to use my pliers to pinch that, to crimp it. But I'm just pinching the middle, not the top or the bottom. And you see how it flattens it like a crimp? And then I'm just going to turn it over and do the same thing with the other side, just to make sure I've gotten both ends nice and secure. All right. So the length is still not the same. So I'm going to trim to line them up so they're all even. And then because I trimmed them, I'm going to want to measure before I put the other end on so that when I do the other one, they're the same length. That'd be a good idea, huh? All right. And I'm just going to measure from the crimp tube because the leather is up inside. So it's about 5 3/4 inches. All right. Now you guys saw me cut those and they're still a little bit. I want to keep trimming, but they're all right. Okay. So now that we got one side, I think I'm just going to get the other side glued while I'm at it so I can compare length before I get both ends in. So we'll go ahead and do that first. Has anybody started making any Valentine's Day jewelry yet? It's really not that far off, so I thought, oh, I better do something. So next week I would like to do another Valentine theme projects, so if that's of interest to you, make sure you stop back. Thanks for joining me tonight, you guys. I appreciate it. All right, so I folded it in half, and if you missed the beginning, the leather that I started with is 24 inches long, and it was 1 millimeter in size. Fold it in half again. Okay. And we knocked it down to 3 pieces. So I'm gonna take one away. And then I'm gonna get the leather in place so that it's all going the natural direction. Why does this one look so short? Let me try this one. Okay, that's better. All right, so then I'm gonna take some more of my hypo cement glue, and I'm just gonna put it inside this crimp, and I want to get some in there, but I don't want to get a ton because I don't want it oozing out the other side and getting on the metal. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for joining. Okay. So then I'm going to take and line up the ends with my other hand and then get them inside the crimp. And I can see them starting to come out the top. And I want the crimp, the loop to the crimp to be flat with the direction so that I can easily get a jump ring through it. So you want to pay attention and make sure that each side is going the same direction. And then I'm just gonna, you see the indent here, I'm gonna use my pliers and just flatten the crimp. And then I'm gonna turn the other side and just make sure that this side is flat as well. Okay, it's probably a little overzealous with that one. Okay. So now I want to line up these 2 pieces. Let's see, Christine says, I've used some of those crimp tubes and pressed too hard. Not good, must be a gentle push. I should have read that before I did this for a second one. Oh, goodness. All right, so just want to make sure that they're very similar in length so that the earrings look kind of the same. A big difference, but I did trim quite a bit off the other one, so I'm just going to go ahead and gonna not do quite as short just in case my thing was off. Yours look good. Mine were really overzealous and split. Yeah, you can split them for sure. Okay. I'm just doing this because I trimmed afterwards and I just want them to be similar in length. Okay, that should do it. So I'm just gonna set them aside. All right, so this is the one I did first. So the next thing I want to do is I want to slide on my bail that's going to hold the heart before I do the other crimp end. Don't forget to do that or you won't be able to get it on. And so I'm going to slide the leather through. And, you know, you could do this with mixed metals. You could have used, you know, I could have used like a copper bale, a antique brass bale with the silver, whatever you'd like. Okay. And so they're going to hang like this. The other thing you probably want to check is how far down you want the earrings to hang. So some people like longer, some people like shorter earrings. So, you know, you can adjust it however you'd like. So just keep that in mind. But I've already trimmed these and matched them up, so I'm going to leave them as is. Can you see the bale up close? Of course. So it's just got the single loop on it, and then that's a side view. And this is just a silver plate. But let me know if that is clear, or if it gets blurry. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. All right, so the next thing I want to do now is glue the other side, put the other crimp on, okay? So I'm going to get the glue back out. And I'm going to take another cord end. And I'm just trying to spread it around a little bit in here. Going to add a touch more. And you are crimping it as well, so you don't need a ton of glue. So I'm just lining the ends up. And then I'm going to put those 3 pieces of the leather in. And I'm pushing until I see it coming up through the top. You see it coming up through the top loop here. And then I'm going to pull it back down, because I don't want it sticking up, but I want to make sure that all 3 pieces are up there. Okay. And I want to make sure that the bale, or the crimp ends, are both laying flat. And then I'm just going to, this middle section here where it's flat, I'm going to pinch. And then I'm just going to go to the other side and pinch again to make sure that both sides are even. All right. So there's that. So the next thing we want to do is, I was wondering if, well, let's do the other side while I got the glue out, because this glue, it keeps coming out of the nozzle, so I'm leaving the cover off and I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to slide this bale on. We'll get that other side glued and then we'll move on to the next part, and then that'll let this side set a little bit before I mess with it some more. Okay. So I'm going to take my other crimp end. This is what they look like up close. And I can tell you the size. These are 2.5 millimeter cord ends. And I'm using 1 millimeter size leather. But I'm using 3 strands. 4 does work, which was my original plan. I had tested it and they fit, but it was a bit snug and I was struggling and I didn't want to get glue all over the cord end, so I took 1 out and just used 3 strands. And it still looks just as nice. Okay. So I got my bale on, and I'm just going to line up the leather. pushing it all through up to the top to make sure all 3 pieces. Okay. And then I want to make sure that they're both flat. See, one piece of leather sticking out. They're both flat. Okay, so I'm going to take the pliers. Give it a pinch. Do the other side. All right. So we'll let that set, but now I can close the glue up. And if you're using this glue, make sure you have a well-ventilated area. It does have an odor. But it is a glue that's made locally here in Rochester, the Hypo Cement, so that's nice to support local businesses. Okay, so I'm just going to get my other things out of the way here. And so I didn't know, I thought maybe, you know, we could do, let me get these out of the way. We could either do just the ear wire at the top, or I could add a bead at the top of that, which would add length. And then obviously the heart would be at the bottom. So I wasn't sure. I didn't know how the ear wire would look connected straight to the jump ring, so we can try it both ways. But before we do that, let's go ahead and attach the heart dangles. So Elizabeth says bead. Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah, so we'll try and see what it looks like. All right, so I'm using a ball head pin that's got a ball on the end. I like using them because they give it, you know, whatever you're doing, a more finished look, because you'll see the ball at the bottom of the piece. And also, if you're working with something that has a larger hole, sometimes a regular head pin will go right through the hole, where if there's a ball, it stops that from happening. So see how that you see the ball at the bottom, which I don't know, I just like the looks of that. And then we had some little corrugated spacers. So I'm just adding that to the top of the heart. And then that will tie in the silver, okay? And then I'm going to set up the other one. And these hearts, they are check glass, and they're two-sided. They're one of my favorite hearts that they make. And so we have those if you're interested. Okay, so then I'm going to add on the other spacer. Now, if you don't like this heart, and if you missed the beginning, we have these other ones that are kind of, you see how the flash in color. So we've got those, or we've got like some heart charms you could definitely use if you want a metal look, or if you don't want to use silver plate, there's these cute gold ones. So there's lots of options. You don't have to do it exactly like I did it. You can, but you don't have to if you don't like that. Totally fine. I won't be offended. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this secured. And I taught at the store yesterday all day. I had a morning and an afternoon, and I dropped my magnifying glasses somewhere. So bear with me, but I can't switch to my better glasses. But I'm doing okay so far. We'll see. All right. Elizabeth, you have a few of those hearts? Yeah, they're so cute. I've also used them with some other connectors that we have they're like a metal oblong, kind of rectangular oval. The corners are rounded. And of course I did them in copper. I'm sure you're surprised. But they looked great with those little hearts. And then next week I would like to come up with a Valentine's themed necklace. So we'll see how I do with that. Hasn't come to me yet, but sometimes it doesn't until the day of. But I work better under pressure. All right. So Beth and Terry are, they're going to be heading to Tucson on the 1st. It's that exciting time of year when they go to the show and bring back all sorts of new goodies for the store. And so stay tuned for that. We've got some fun things planned and something new planned that we haven't done before. So make sure you're on our mailing list for our newsletter. And make sure you like and follow our Facebook page, which is different from this group. So, because that's where the announcements will be in our newsletter and on the page. If you want to sign up for our newsletter, you just go to letsbead.com, scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, and you'll see where it says subscribe. And we only send out one newsletter a week. We won't spam you with a whole bunch of stuff. I can see that something's sticking out here, but without my magnifying glasses. All right. So there's one. I'm almost wondering, I'm going to do this one without the bead, the corrugated bead, to see if I like the look of that better. Just because it makes it longer. And of course I've already got the loop in this one, but okay, so somebody showed me a trick. So look, I'm trying to get this bead off, and it's hard because of the curve in the wire, and it's so hard to get the curve out of a wire once you've put it in, right? But one of our visiting artists showed us this trick. You just take your pliers, hold the wire in place, and just pinch, and then pinch, and it just kind of straightens it back out. And then I can use my straighteners to adjust it, but it gets rid of that curve and you're not damaging the head pin. So that was pretty easy. I'm going to take that off. And I couldn't believe how easy it was, because I'm sure you've all probably struggled with trying to get a loop out of something after you've put it in. Okay, so we're going to try this one without that extra bead to try to shorten the length. And because they are super long with that veil. Okay. And then I'll put this back in here. Okay. All right. Just looking for my cutters, sorry. and I'm cutting with the flat side towards my work, so I get a flush cut. All right. So I like that better, the shorter one versus the longer one. But either, you know, it all depends on your preference. So you can do it either way. All right, so now let's add the jump ring. And I'm gonna try an 18 gauge 6mm. And these are just plated open jump rings. And to open a jump ring, you're just going to find the seam where it's open, and you're going to put that seam at 12 o'clock, and then put your pliers at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And you're not going to pull apart. You're going to do a twisting motion with your wrist to twist them open like that. All right. And then I'm going to run each side through. And then when we close them, we're going to close them the same way with that twisting motion. And I'm just going to go back and forth until they're lined up and there's some tension. Okay? Tracy loves all the hearts. Yeah. They're fun, aren't they? Okay. And then we're going to do another jump ring. Now, if you don't like the crimp tubes that I used on the end for the leather, there are some that you don't crimp. They're just a round cylinder, and you could totally use those as well. So it just depends on the look you're going for. So just know that there are other options, and if you have questions, just ask the girls in the store and they'll help you find, you know, an alternative. Okay. So cute. And then I wanted to see what it would look like with the bead above or just the ear wire. So on this one, because it's already longer, I'm going to put just the ear wire because I don't want to add to the length. So these are ball ear wires, and you can see the curve and how it backs up. And I'm just going to gently take a tool and pull that open and away. So now it's open. And then I can take that jump ring and run it right through. And so now I'm just going to gently close it. And that's what it looks like. All right. And then on this one, let's try the option with the fire polished crystal. So I've just got a piece of wire. I'm going to do just a simple loop. And I'm going to find my plier here. There we go. Simple loop is not my forte, but okay. So I'm just, you know, bending it over. I probably have a little bit too much. And then I'm going to put this in my round nose pliers, and I don't want to feel the wire sticking out at all on the back side, okay? And I'm going to roll this towards me while I'm putting pressure down on my finger here, okay? So I'm just going to roll it towards me, and I can take my pliers out and readjust. And then there's my loop. Not too bad. I probably have, you know, a little bit longer than what I needed as far as length. and we could trim some of that away if we wanted to. So, and I'm going to trim, cutting with the flat side towards the part I'm keeping, so I get a flush cut. Always hold it, cover it with your hands, because the metal will fly. And I'm just curling that over. Okay. And there's a little gap I can see. And I also want to make sure that this loop is centered on the pin, so I'm tilting it backwards just a little bit. All right. Not bad. Okay. So then I'm going to put the piece of fire polish on, and this fire polish is 6mm, if you're wondering about the size I'm using. And then same thing on this side, and I want my loops to go the opposite direction, and the reason why is this jump ring here, it's going to connect to this jump ring, so that one's laying flat, so this loop needs to be sideways in order to go through the jump ring. But then when you get to the ear wire needs to be able to go through the other way. So just pay attention to what direction your loops need to go. So I did one forward, the other one is going to go backwards. I'm just going to bend that over. And I'm going to trim it flat side towards my work, cover the metal so it doesn't fly. And then I'm going to grab my round nose and then, try to place the wire in the same place on your pliers so that you make the same size loop each time. Some people will actually take a Sharpie and mark the pliers, so you can do that as well. Okay, so that could be just a little bit bigger. And then you see how that loop is not centered on top, so I'm just going to tilt it back just a little bit and then adjust. Okay, so now I've got my little connector link. Oops. And so now I need to open it, well, or I can open the jump ring on this one. So let's do that, because I don't want to mess with the loops any more than I have to. Okay. And then we're going to just close that back up. Same way we opened it. And you should be able to see that there's no gaps or any light coming through, to make sure your jump ring is closed up. And then I'm going to open this ear wire the same way, just gently pulling apart. And then closing. And so that's the other one. So there's a couple of variations, you can do it with or without the bead, and you can adjust the length of the leather if you don't want the earring as long. And you can also adjust, if you add beads on top of your heart, that's going to make it, longer, so you can avoid that by not having the beads on there. So what do you think? You guys like it? So here's my drawing. And here's what we ended up with. So pretty close. And I had to laugh because when I was looking at it and the heart fell on the napkin, and I looked at the size, and look at this. it's fit right in there. I was like, oh, those were meant to be. So, love them. Oh, thanks. Good. I'm glad you guys like it. I hope it gives you some ideas. And, stop in and check out our Valentine's Day stuff and our Valentine's themed stuff. If you're starting to make jewelry for yourself or as gifts. And the red napkin too. Yeah. Right. Yeah, the red napkin was appropriate. And but those are fun. I liked making those. Once I picked up the materials and found what I was looking for, I was really looking forward to making these. So, all right. Well, stop in and see us. If there's anything we can help you with, let us know. And if you ever have suggestions for things you'd like to see made here in the group, don't hesitate to post them in the comments or send me a message. If you're watching this on the replay and you have questions, post them in the comments, and I will be happy to get back to you as soon as I see it. And you guys have a great week. Have a good night. And I will see you next Sunday with another Valentine themed project. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.